Hey everyone, welcome back to Money Talks Unfiltered. I'm Ruby and I am super pumped about today's topic.
Hey folks, Angelo here, and I've got to say, this one really hits home for a lot of us.
Absolutely. So, Angelo, have you ever really thought about the difference between just managing your own money versus handling family wealth?
Oh, definitely. It's like comparing apples and watermelons. Personal finance is one thing, but family wealth management, that's a whole other universe. Shall we?
Right? It's not just about making sure you've got enough for that new gadget you want.
Exactly. It's about ensuring the well-being of everyone in your family, maybe even generations down the line.
Uh-huh. And that's where something called event management comes into play.
Wait, event management? Like planning weddings and birthdays?
Ha, if only it were that simple. No, in finance, it's about anticipating and planning for significant life events.
Oh, you mean like retirement, kids' education, that sort of big stuff?
Yep. And let's not forget those unexpected emergencies that love to sneak up on us.
Tell me about it. Car breaks down right when you least expect it.
Exactly. So during our peak earning years, what is it, like ages 30 to 45?
Yeah, give or take.
That's when we really need to be strategic about accumulating wealth,
True, but it's tough when you're juggling aging parents and raising kids at the same time.
right? It's like being pulled in three different directions and trying to keep everyone happy.
Uh-huh. And sometimes you're faced with really tough decisions.
Like what?
Well, for instance, should your parents sell their home to help you with a down payment on yours?
Ooh, that's a real dilemma.
I know. Or do you prioritize saving for your kids' college fund over your own retirement?
Man, just thinking about this stuff gives me a headache.
Same here. It's not easy stuff.
And sometimes, out of anxiety, we make impulsive decisions with our investments.
Yep, like jumping on that hot stock tip from your barber.
Ah, guilty as charged.
Aren't we all at some point?
Probably. But that's why it's so important to have a long-term, strategic approach.
Couldn't agree more. But it's easier said than done.
True. Speaking of strategy, have you heard about the three-step method for effective family wealth management?
Can't say I have. Enlighten me.
Sure thing. Step 1, clarify your family goal events. Step 2, determine appropriate strategies. Step 3, select suitable financial tools.
Sounds straightforward when you put it that way.
It does, but putting it into practice is a whole other story.
Right. And it's helpful to categorize those goal events as either rigid or flexible.
Rigid being essential expenses like housing and food, correct?
Exactly. And flexible being things like vacations or that fancy new car you don't really need.
Gotcha. So it's about prioritizing.
Uh-huh. This reminds me of the Impossible Trinity theory in finance.
Oh, yeah. The idea that you can't have maximum security, maximum returns, and maximum liquidity all at once.
That's the one.
So you have to pick which two are most important to you.
Precisely. If you want high returns and liquidity, you might have to sacrifice safety.
Right. And if you want safety and high returns, you might have to lock your money away for a while.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Absolutely. Balancing these factors is key based on your family's needs and risk tolerance.
You know, speaking of risk tolerance, that can vary a lot even within a family.
Ooh, tell me about it. I'm up for high-risk investments, but my partner, not so much.
Same here. So communication becomes crucial.
Definitely. You need to be on the same page, or at least understand each other's perspectives.
Uh-huh. I read about these three people saving for a car down payment, and they all took different approaches.
Interesting. What did they do?
Well, one person stashed cash under the mattress.
Old school. Safe and accessible, but no growth.
Exactly. The second invested in a fixed deposit, got some returns, but couldn't access the money easily.
Makes sense.
And the third went all in on stocks, hoping for high returns, but ended up losing money.
Yikes. High risk, high reward. Or not.
Precisely. It shows how important it is to align your strategy with your goals and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. Have you ever faced a tough financial decision like that?
Actually, yeah. My partner and I debated whether to pay off our mortgage early or invest the extra money elsewhere,
Oh, that's a classic conundrum.
right? We weighed the pros and cons for weeks.
So what did you end up doing?
We decided to split the difference, made extra mortgage payments, but also invested a portion.
Nice. Sounds like a well thought out compromise.
Thanks, it felt right for us.
You know, it's interesting how money can be such a taboo topic, even within families.
Absolutely. People often avoid these conversations, but then small issues can turn into big problems.
Exactly. Open communication can prevent a lot of misunderstandings and stress.
Couldn't agree more.
By the way, did I tell you about my cousin's latest investment idea?
No, what's he up to now?
He wants to invest in a startup that's making, wait for it, smart toasters.
Smart toasters? As in toasters connected to Wi-Fi?
Yep. So you can control your toast from your phone.
Wow, because manually pushing a button is just too much work?
Exactly. It's innovation at its finest.
Well, who knows? Stranger things have been successful.
True, but it just goes to show you need to do your homework before jumping in.
Absolutely. Due diligence is key.
Speaking of which, maybe it's time for a quick break.
Good call.
All right, folks, today's episode is brought to you by Family Fortify, the ultimate app for managing your family's wealth all in one place.
Family Fortify helps you plan, track, and achieve your financial goals together, because a fortified family is a happy family.
Love it.
Thanks. Now back to our chat.
So we were talking about communication and involving the whole family in financial planning.
Right. And I truly believe it's crucial to educate kids about money early on.
Definitely. Financial literacy is so important, yet often overlooked.
My parents involved me in budgeting from a young age, and it made a world of difference.
That's fantastic. I wish more families did that.
Me too. But sometimes it's hard to know where to start.
Agreed. Even simple things like explaining how earning and spending work can make a big impact.
Absolutely. And as kids get older, involving them in bigger financial decisions can teach them valuable life skills. Like,
Couldn't agree more.
do you think cultural factors play into how families manage wealth?
Oh, for sure. In some cultures, it's expected that children will financially support their parents.
Right, and in others, parents aim to leave a significant inheritance.
Exactly. These expectations can really influence how we plan our finances.
Totally. It's important to consider those factors when making decisions. Hey, have you thought about how technology is changing family wealth management?
Oh, absolutely. There's an app for everything these days.
Yeah, but sometimes I wonder if it's making things easier or just adding more noise.
Good point. Information overload is real.
Exactly. Sometimes too many options can be paralyzing.
Tell me about it. Analysis paralysis is no joke.
Right? Speaking of apps, did you hear about that new one that rounds up your purchases and invests the spare change?
Oh, yeah. It's a clever way to ease into investing.
Totally. Makes the whole process less intimidating.
Agreed.
But you still have to be careful about where that money is going.
Absolutely. Always do your due diligence.
By the way, remember when we talked about the Impossible Trinity?
Yeah.
I was thinking how that concept applies to our daily lives too.
What do you mean?
Well, like when we're trying to balance work, family, and personal time.
Oh, the life version of the Impossible Trinity. You can't have all three perfectly balanced.
Exactly. Something's always got to give.
So true.
So it's all about finding the right balance for you.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, looks like we're nearing the end of our time.
Already? Time really flies when you're having a good chat.
Doesn't it?
Before we wrap up, I want to encourage our listeners to start thinking about their own family wealth management strategies.
Absolutely. Take some time to clarify your family's goals and have those important conversations.
And don't be afraid to reach out for professional advice if you need it.
Good point.
And if you're looking for a community to share ideas and learn more, Angelo, this has been a fantastic conversation.
Always a pleasure, Ruby.
Thanks to all our listeners for tuning in to Money Talks Unfiltered.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and your finances.
Bye, everyone.